the very predators that I'm trying to turn in are currently going back and forth between their vehicle and beating on the door. I have a video. I try to record everything, and the video that I was recording, I did not plan on posting on the internet because of, well, privacy issues. However, these safety issues with the Dual County Sheriff's Department are significant enough that since they showed up while I was making that video, I have to post it for my own safety and for the safety of my loved ones. Now, I have a grand total of what I myself with. Nothing really. I mean, physically, I'm not able to defend myself. Then, I mean, really, I got nail guns in here. Well, I don't want to use those. Those could actually hurt somebody. Obviously, my BB guns are not going to do anything to deter them from killing me if they so choose. But the real question is, why is it that my predators are allowed to repeatedly do this? Why is it that Sean Holloway and Sheriff DaCosta are allowed to continually do this? Well, we got to hear those phone calls this morning. These officers get away with doing this because, well, none of these places that are supposed to investigate the crimes are actually willing to do so. They're not willing to look at the evidence. Matter of fact, when I was speaking with the officer from the Nebraska State Patrol, Investigator Woods, and of course that conversation is recorded as well. When I was speaking with him, I was trying to convince him to look at the evidence. It doesn't work that way. The way it works is you write it down on a piece of paper, and then you give it to me, and I write it down, and I give it to the Nebraska Attorney General's office. Really, without any evidence. You're not even willing to look at the evidence. You want my report without evidence to turn in. So how is the Nebraska Attorney General's office supposed to investigate the crimes against me without evidence? If you don't collect the evidence and send it in, they're going to throw it out. And he knew that. He knew, just like Deputy Holloway knew, just like former Deputy Jared Hahn knew, these guys have been cops long enough to learn the dirty tricks to allow them to get away with the horrible things that they've done. Hahn didn't collect any evidence. Sean Holloway didn't collect any evidence the first time I went to him. The second time he took a picture of my telephone. He took a picture of the damage on my hand. He said I could make a verbal report, said that was fine. I said, "Are you sure?" He said, "Well, I got it recorded. I can go back and look at it." Later, he changed his mind. Now, all of this body cam footage that they have shows that I've been telling the truth. But see, in the Gabby Petito case, they were able to get that body camera evidence. In many, many other situations, the media was able to get a hold of that body cam evidence, but I can't get it. Well, that's not okay. I need help stopping the abuse. And I read one of them pretty memes this morning that kind of sums it up pretty well. I ought to see if I can find it so I don't misquote it. It's on Facebook, so I'm looking it up. All right. I suppose I should type in part of what it said because I can at least remember that much. God, I can't remember exactly how it was worded. Actually, I think I reposted it. There's a few of them that I thought were pretty good today. Here it is. Weird that I actually have to explain this, but taking things away from people until they agree to do what you say isn't giving them a choice. It's punishing them until they concede to your demands. Normally, we would refer to this type of behavior as manipulation and abuse. But if it's a cop, it's okay. If it's a junkie, it's okay. Fuck this country, seriously. Now I'm gonna go see if them friggin' Piggly Wigglies are still out there. Fuck, I need a new bag. Well, they pulled out finally. Good boy, Walter. Good boy. Good boy. I'll take you out in a few minutes, okay, bud? So, anyway, I was gonna go help my sister. She needs a heater. She needs vehicle insurance. And I had planned on going up and seeing her. Now I'm worried about getting arrested on more trumped up charges. So, although there was some private stuff in that conversation with my little sister in the video I just recorded, I gotta post it up. I have to. Now, I'm glad that the police, I talked to Tara, of course, and she said the police finally did something. I'm glad for that, because that means I don't have to hunt them all down and put them in prison. Now, some of y'all are just straight up violent minded. And no matter what I say, you're going to try to twist it and contort it to pretend like I'm gonna go hurt somebody. You're sick in the fucking head. If you deny somebody their constitutional rights, it's magically okay if nobody cares. And that's why assisted suicide should be legal. You as a society should allow your victims to die with dignity. They shouldn't have to have Joseph Michael Lopez blow their head off on the side of the fucking road. Their kids shouldn't come home to find the top of their head missing and their brains all over the ceiling. I believe in assisted suicide for a reason. I believe in suicide as well. But suicide isn't nearly as dignified. And I guess that's a matter of opinion. But with assisted suicide, there's an option. With suicide, it's either help me or fucking kill me. That's suicide. Even if they pull the trigger themselves, you're the one that killed them because they went to you for help. And you blew them off. And they blew their head off. That's on you, bud. I'm tired enough that I'm not even sure if the words that are coming out of my mouth are the ones I'm intending to speak. I hope so. But you'll get to hear that I'm telling the truth, at least. I suppose that's the one good thing about posting up the video with my sister. I'm just extremely pissed off that it's to this point. None of these places would investigate crimes against me. None of them bothered to get evidence. Not a single one. Is that true? No, it's not. Scott DaCosta made sure that the judge gave him permission to steal all of my evidence. Because I don't have the money for an actual civil lawyer, I just have to take it. And that's the thing about many of you. You say ignorant shit like just let it go. If it happened 20 years ago and it was over 20 years ago, yeah, I'd really need to let it go, huh? But what if it happened 5 years ago and has continued since then? Nobody deserves this kind of abuse. People who have spoken up have not been heard. Of course, most of them didn't try very hard. Now I'm hoping the video with my sister is done downloading. It said an hour and a half. Well, I hope it finishes before my things get stolen again. Oh, the cops are back. They must have heard I'm making a video. they're just going to keep on coming back and knocking on my door and knocking on my door and knocking on my door and making the dog bark. Since the dog's not barking, I'm wondering, maybe they drove by this time. No, they didn't. They sure stopped. Well, at least I guess they didn't, and that makes sense why the dog didn't. People keep telling me I need to move, but move to where? I have more of a support network here than anywhere else because I have a grand total of 2 people that I associate with. 2. 2 people who are too afraid to speak up. A lot of people wanted to be pissed off that I recorded them. What did they expect me to do? I'm taking abuse because they're afraid to speak up. Laura Nelson is afraid to speak up, and I'm the one punished. I don't associate with Laura Nelson. In fact, I speak out against her because of the things that she has done, because of the things that she has allowed. I told the truth about Laura Nelson from the very beginning, and she knew I was telling the truth. She was too afraid to come forward. The guy whose house this is has been repeatedly intimidated for helping me by the sheriff's department, and he's too afraid to come forward. There's a guy in town, and I've been trying to keep him a secret, but obviously the safety issues are far too great for that. A friend of mine from Colorado just messaged me. She's transgender, and she's still a human being to me. Imagine that. Now, this other guy in town, his name is Wendell McPhee. I've got probably over 1,000 hours that I recorded over at his house. And there's a reason I recorded it. He happened to have a lot of evidence and know a lot of things. Comes in real handy. When Sandy Fromm was running around town claiming that she was going to kill me and trying to hire somebody to kill me, Wendell McPhee is the one that told me. Matter of fact, he even told me the name of the guy that she went to. Of course, he only knew the guy's first name. But I also have Sandy Fromm recorded. She told me the guy's first and last name. And although I can't remember it, it's still recorded and buried in a pile of thousands of other recordings that I have to go through one by one, listening to every minute to try to find the parts that are important. Like, well, in order to show the stuff about Sandy Fromm, I have to go through thousands of audio recordings that I made at Wendell's. And, well, each one's got a little bit more time than the last, huh? If you watch an hour-long video, you've only watched for an hour. If you watch 2-hour-long videos, you've watched for 2 hours. A lot of times when I'm looking for a certain bit of evidence, I run into a bunch of other evidence that I had been searching for a while and hadn't been able to find. But then again, that evidence that I had been looking for a while, hadn't been able to find, and magically found it and got lucky while I was looking for evidence of something else. Well, sometimes I try to set that evidence to the side, but oftentimes that evidence is absolutely useless for the situation I'm in. I mean, all the stuff from Colorado is pretty much useless as far as the stuff goes here in Nebraska. It's all tied in together. Another thing is, I got a friend that I was going to go see who was going to help me with this stuff. Now, the last time I had somebody who was going to help me with this stuff, it was my autism advocate back in January, and you know how that turned out. I take the abuse as long as I can, and I work as best I can under the conditions I got. But when I'm scared, I'm going to scream for help, because asking for help gets me blown off and ignored. Now, you notice those people, after making excuses and talking over me, they wanted to use the fact that I was yelling at them as an excuse. Except that I didn't have to yell at them until they wanted to talk over me. Don't talk over me to bullshit me. That ain't nice. I shouldn't have to yell. These people's jobs is to investigate crimes against disabled people. I am disabled. Crimes were committed against me. Nobody collected evidence. Imagine that. We don't have a justice system. The judge here is friends with the sheriff. The sheriff here is friends with the sheriff in the next county. They're co-workers. There's another thing too. I'm gonna have to try to find the recordings with my therapist. It's got private information, like my phone number and my social security number. But I'm gonna have to dig that out and post it for my own safety. Nobody should have to be afraid of the police, but every single homeless person has to. Every single person who has tried to turn in a police officer who's not rich has to worry about that. Now, how much your word means is based on, well, basically a series of points. Let's say it's a 100-point scale. If you get a 0, you don't get any points as a human being. If you get a 100, well, you're popular and rich. So let's start everybody off at 50. All right. Now, if you're a male, subtract 10 points. If you're a female, add 10 points. If you are considered physically unattractive, take away 20 points. If you are considered physically attractive, add 20 points. Now, if you're poor, subtract 30 points. If you're rich, add 30 points. Now, obviously, in this scale, you can go over 100. If you're a pretty white female who's rich, yeah, your word means more than anyone else's. If you're a poor white man, your word don't mean shit. You are the guy everybody blames for everything. You are the guy that everybody punishes for everything that went wrong in their life. And then they pretend like you're the bad guy. And they call you the narcissist. I'm trying to turn in Scott DaCosta and his deputies. But then again, without my rights being observed, that's just not going to happen. Without someone stepping forward and speaking up, that's not going to happen. I got a lady who's been involved since the beginning, but was unable to do something for most of it. Her reasons are valid. That doesn't mean that I like them or agree with them, and I don't have to. They're still valid. So, in order to get her help, which I was going to leave today so that I didn't have to drive through the snow, in order to go see her to turn in these cops, I have to avoid getting harassed by these cops. I have to avoid interaction with these officers. These people all shook each other's hands and wiped each other's asses. To this day, no law enforcement agency has investigated any of the crimes against me. Meanwhile, there are thousands of conversations that are recorded. There are hundreds of conversations with witnesses on my YouTube channel. But none of these people are willing to look at it. Department of Health and Human Services is not willing to look at the evidence. Nebraska State Patrol has not been willing to look at the evidence, and now that I have a case that I'm trying to bring against their officers, they almost sort of pretend like they're interested, but they're not. State Patrol officers were a part of the abuse that I have taken because of Scott DaCosta. I was trying to turn in Scott DaCosta to the Nebraska State Patrol because the Nebraska Attorney General's office told me to, but they wouldn't do anything. I called them the first time in 2018. 2018, it is now 2021, folks. If they refuse to collect evidence, they are obstructing justice. I have filled out literally hundreds of police reports, but none of these officers ever cared about the evidence. Sean Holloway pretended to. Now we can get that body cam evidence, or you can ask Rod Wright for his evidence because he had an audio recording device while I was speaking to Sean Holloway. Also, I recorded it. And like with many of these other things, I have thousands of videos to go through, thousands of recordings to go through. Thousands of crimes have been committed against me. These guys want to pretend, which is why I need help showing the evidence. If you have seen the evidence, you can speak up even if I'm locked up. You can say, hey, Sean's evidence does exist. This is not okay. Of course, I'm not a white girl who's rich. Y'all are pissed off about how Britney Spears is treated, but I'm not Britney Spears, so I don't matter. Ariana wrote, if you were in Boulder, maybe you could, when I get home in Corpus Christi, Texas for a bit longer. Well, that's fucking unpleasant. I haven't been able to go to Boulder for years because of bad cops and bad media and repeated assaults. Blam. Oh, here's one of those people typing that crap in Russian now. What do they call these guys again? Spammers? We'll hit the hide user on this channel. They can still type. Nobody's going to see it.
You've reached Terry Hicks. Leave a message. I'll call you back as soon as I can.
At the tone, please record your message. When you've finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options. To leave a callback number, press 5.
Hey, Tara, my predators with badges came by to harass me, so I am afraid to leave the house. I'm afraid that if I leave to bring you some money, that they will arrest me and take all of my money like they've done repeatedly. I need help stopping this. You know, when I was going to help you out in January, they pulled the same crap. I'll try to risk it when I'm able. tell me just to let it go. I have to be afraid of leaving the house, and I have said this repeatedly. I suppose I should get a hold of my therapist and let her know that I gotta post a bunch of shit. Oh. Yay. And I just let the lady know that it was supposed to help me, that you guys are probably gonna prevent it. Hey, Tara.
Hey, Sean. I just stepped away from my phone. Like, this is bullshit, dude.
Yeah, well, we can still make that Walmart trip if I'm able to get out of here without the cops doing their bullshit again. The problem is, I don't know if that's going to happen.
Right.
Like, you remember when I told you I was going to try to get you $200 a month back in January?
Right.
And then they put me in prison for 7 months on trumped up charges?
Right.
Well, it looks like they're about to do the same thing again.
Jesus criminy, dude.
Yeah, that lady I was going to go to try to get help to stop this, I can't get that help if I'm incarcerated, and that's why the cops do this stuff. That's why they locked me up in January, so I couldn't turn them in.
Right.
And I called the Nebraska Attorney General's office this morning, and they claimed that they did an investigation. They never talked to me and never collected any evidence. How can they do an investigation without collecting evidence or talking to me?
Yeah.
You remember the Paul twins, Lynn and Leslie?
Vaguely, yeah.
Yeah, well, Leslie works for Sheriff Scott DaCosta.
Hmm.
And she pulled some shady bullshit to try to help him to not get into trouble.
Hmm.
They illegally prevented me from going to court by incarcerating me. Right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, man.
yeah, I don't know what to do in this situation. I mean, I need somebody to actually speak up and to actually fight for my rights. And I'm,
Hey.
yeah,
Well, it looks like they tried to go through the gate again. My rope's been moved on my bungee cord. Yeah.
well, Tara, I'm scared.
I'm scared too, Sean. We're both in a situation where we're being fucked with. This is ridiculous.
Well, on the bright side, you're getting help. I keep getting cut off from mine.
Yo.
This is, January was the 5th time that they pulled that bullshit. 5 times that I tried to turn in the bad officers in this town, and 5 times I was either locked up in jail or prison or taken to a nuthatch. They want to pretend like I'm schizophrenic. I've never been schizophrenic. But they believe that by calling me schizophrenic, it will allow them to get away with their crimes. The problem with that is that a police officer cannot diagnose somebody with schizophrenia. And any hospital that allows that is committing felonies. It would be one thing if I was schizophrenic, or if I even told them that I was schizophrenic.
Maybe I should talk to Ed and have him tell them the difference.
Is Ed schizophrenic?
No, but you have it's Asperger's.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, because of the fact that he could speak up and let them know the difference.
Well, I do need that, but the problem is getting somebody who's got high enough status for them to actually listen to, high enough status that they have to listen.
That's what I'm saying. Ed would be able to do that because he had like I can't get a hold of Ed right now to do that, but because he's helping someone move. But I'm wondering if I could get Ed to do it.
I need people to speak out bad.
Because he knows you enough that would be able to tell them that you're not
Well, you know me that well
schizophrenic.
too. You know me that well too, though.
Yeah. But he's in a situation where he's not.
He's
Like,
not living
he would
in a
be
camper
able to
trailer
help
in
me
someone's
be back
backyard.
up. You know what I mean?
Do what?
He would be able to help me be back up. He
Yes,
would be
ma'am.
my backup.
Well, I got a friend named Mandy. I'm gonna try to get you in contact with her just in case something happens.
Yeah.
I know Mom doesn't care and Eric doesn't care, and well, Michael hates me. But you know what?
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
a child molester, so he can kiss my ass. But
Because of the fact that I don't know the difference. I can speak out, but I don't know the difference. But having Ed with me to be able to explain the difference is what I would need.
do I have visual hallucinations?
No,
Do I hear things that aren't there?
no. But I'm not with you enough to be able to do that. But the thing I need is what Ed has. Because he knows the difference. Because he has some kind of version of Asperger's.
Yes, ma'am, he does.
So that's why I would need Ed to be with me to help explain it, to have that kind of backup. If that,
Yep.
you know what I mean?
But also a lot of the issue is that as soon as you're called autistic, they don't want to listen to you, and they're not going to listen to you. Now, do you know, God, what's that therapist lady? Maggie? Fuck, you know, if I had gotten more sleep, it probably would have come right to me. You remember?
I know the sleep deprived thing. I've been dealing with that for 3 months now.
Yeah, it's hard to sleep when you're getting fucked with, because you have to worry about that shit. You can't just turn it off.
Yeah, especially when you got a kid sleeping in the camper with you.
People say, oh, you just got to let it go. Well, it's easy to let it go if it happened 20 years ago and it stopped.
Yeah.
When it's still happening, it's going to haunt you. It's going to keep you awake.
Yep.
Now, Ed could explain it to him, but I have the president of the Nebraska Autism Society is my autism advocate.
Mm-hmm.
And they won't even listen to her. She also understands the difference. Same thing with my therapist. Like, I'm trying to remember.
Why aren't they listening to them though? Do they need someone who's like family, friends?
Yes.
That's what
I
they
told
need?
you that. I told you that at Grandma's funeral, and you said you were going to try.
Yeah. Okay.
And
so
then you had all those
who,
issues where you had to move.
Okay, I gotcha. Oh, now I gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Not someone who's okay. Now I gotcha. See.
That's what I've needed from the beginning. You remember when me and Mom were having that argument in your house?
Oh yeah. Okay, I gotcha.
I just needed her help, and she just wanted to treat me like shit.
Gotcha.
How many times has Mom smacked me and I've never hit her back?
Yeah.
How many times has Scott hit me and I never hit him back? Although he only hit me on 2 different occasions, whereas Mom, she'd do that whole slapping thingy.
Yeah.
All right. I'm sorry for talking so long. I have so much anxiety and butterflies right now, Tara. I am so scared to leave the house.
I know that situation all too well, Sean, for the fact that the last time that I went somewhere thinking I could actually go and enjoy myself after being stuck in this camper for 2 months straight after changing my routine, thinking I could go to somebody's birthday party and coming back and finding out that my camper had been broken into and ransacked. Yeah, and then having cops have to go into my living quarters with me and go through everything with me. Yeah, I know. And now I'm back to being stuck in here again and not being able to even, I'm afraid to even go to the grocery store. The last time that I went to the grocery store, I had this black car freaking stalk us and follow us. And now I'm afraid to even leave to go to the grocery store again. So I do know.
Well,
like that black car tried to hit us too.
The
I
cops,
was like, this is freaking ridiculous.
the cops actually collected evidence from you. They made every excuse not to collect any from me.
No, they didn't. They didn't do fingerprints or anything when that time that I came back from that birthday party. They just went through everything with me. But other than that, they didn't do fingerprints. They didn't do anything. They just went through stuff with me. They followed me around in my camper, and that's it.
You still got that taser I gave you?
Yes.
All right. I got a pepper spray I was going to try to bring you, but I can't find it. So we'll probably just go to Cabela's or something and pick one up there.
They have some at Walmart.
Yes, ma'am.
In two different places. They have it in the camping stuff and they have it in the car stuff.
Yes, ma'am.
So I've seen it in both places. So.
All right. Well, I just got paid today, so we can at least try to take, if I'm able to get there, we can at least try to get your heater taken care of and your insurance and some pepper spray. I wasn't able to call Amanda because of the situation with the cops here.
Right.
I didn't go downstairs and answer the door. I'm not okay with that. Someone has to be with me anytime that there are cops involved for my safety.
Right. See, on that one, I mean, I'm okay with dealing with the cops as many times as I've dealt with the cops. The problem I have when I'm here is that I can't talk to the cops the way I need to talk to the cops because Senior keeps getting involved. And the way I need to talk to the cops, I can't do it with Senior around because of the fact that I have this feeling this is why I need to get different internet. Because
well, you also need a different housing situation.
Well, yes. I think if I can get different housing situation, I wouldn't be dealing with this.
And that's a possibility. There's a lot of people that don't like Senior, and you might be getting fucked with just because they don't like Senior.
Because of that. Oh yeah. But I think this is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that Senior has control of the Wi-Fi, which I already know this because it's his internet. But what I'm thinking is that whenever I leave, the internet doesn't work, so the cameras don't work. Whenever I come back, then the cameras seem to work. Then at night, the cameras seem to stop working after a certain point because the Wi-Fi doesn't work.
So is he one of those guys that like turns it on while he's there and turns it off when he leaves?
Yeah, I think he has control of the Wi-Fi. I need to find some way of getting my own Wi-Fi internet of some kind so that these cameras can work better.
Well, we were talking about getting the bring your own phone thing and trying to do it that way, but I mean that would still just be a Wi-Fi hotspot basically for those other devices.
Well, I know there's a way we can do internet. We were going to look into it at some point of getting internet for Walmart, because there is a way we can do it.
You
And I
have to
know
be
there's a way we can do it.
inside the building, but if you're within direct line of sight of the door, like if you're in the first two rows that are right in front of the glass doors, you can pick up the internet there. And then you can also sometimes pick it up on the north side of the building. I lived in that parking lot for about a week.
Yeah.
Well, like 4 days. People,
So I know there's ways of buying like an internet box and an internet card type deal at Walmart.
and that's different than the thing that we were looking for last time, right?
Yes.
The portal or hub or whatever you called it.
Yes. That was for just downloading the videos. That was something totally different. That was just for downloading the videos.
That was
Because
so
of
that you
how I
don't
was
have
doing
to.
the videos. That had nothing to do with the internet.
Okay. Well, I'm not tech savvy. I know what
Yeah.
people have told me. I know what I've tried to learn on the internet, but
Yeah.
I'm not tech savvy. So
Yeah.
I mean,
What
you're
I-
more tech
it's-
savvy than I am.
Yeah. What I'm talking about, it's like buying a phone card and a phone. It's the same way of doing it like that. I can show you when we get there. It's the same way of doing it that way.
All right. They had Sydney Police Department help them out last time they did this to me. So if I'm able to make it there, I am probably going to give you all of my money as soon as I get there,
Okay.
just in case Sydney Police Department tries to help them with their BS again.
Okay. Like, I'm safe driving in Sydney. What happened in Ogallala because of a one-way street. I hate driving in places with one-way streets. That's what fucked me. I would have been fine if it hadn't have been a one-way street situation.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
I understand that. I got stuck in a one-way area over in Omaha. I was lucky I didn't get pulled over. Oh.
Yeah, well, it was lack of sleep, and it just was a one-way street situation. And like, I have no problems driving around here in Sydney. I had gone to a doctor's appointment, and on the way back from North Platte, I was going through Ogallala, and I had stopped to get gas and had dealt with a one-way street situation. That's what happened, and I got pulled over, and I was like, oh crap. Like, yep, well, I guess I wanted to do something for Christmas for myself, and luckily I didn't get a ticket out of it. I just ended up getting a court date out of it because of no proof of insurance. So
as long as you can show in and
one.
prove your insurance, then you ought to
Yep.
be good. Yep.
Yeah. So I was just like, yeah, I'm not from this area. I didn't realize that was a one-way street. Yeah, okay. So I kind of lucked out on that one. But I do have a court date out of it. So if I can get insurance, I should be okay. So.
Yes, ma'am.
Yep. So other than that, I'm just kind of like, yeah, I'm just like, oh, okay. Yep. So.
Well, I'll give you a call when I'm on the road so you know I'm coming.
Yep. Okay.
All right. Be safe, Tara.
Yep. You too, Sean.
Bye.
All right. Bye.
Well, they make every excuse why they're not supposed to look at the evidence when it comes to me. At least they sort of looked at some of her evidence. We got another one of those, what do you call them again? Spammers. This one calls herself Sabrina Quinn. Same crap as the last ones. Hide user on this channel. I have every right and every reason to be afraid of these officers. I've spent 4 years trying to turn in my predators, and law enforcement has done more than anyone else to obstruct justice. Meanwhile, they get heard because they have badges, not because they're honest, not because they're forthright. They get heard because they have badges. Anything that they say is taken as if it is 100% the golden truth because it came out of the mouth of someone who wears a badge and carries a gun. My predators all have guns, or at least most of them. Now, I got to turn in Sean Holloway. He took part in this as well. I mean, when I say Scott DaCosta, it wasn't just Scott DaCosta. It's literally Scott DaCosta and every deputy that he has had for the last 4 years, with the exception of Brent Jeffson. So, what do we do there? Small town, crooked cops, no one cares. Fucking nasty. Being paranoid doesn't make you schizophrenic. That's why a paranoid schizophrenic is called a paranoid schizophrenic and not just paranoid or not just schizophrenic. Paranoia can be justified. My little sister is being stalked, and she's paranoid because of it. I'm being stalked, harassed, assaulted, and I'm paranoid because of it. Now, obviously, talking to my sister just now, you come to realize that at least a few more of the things that I said were actually true. Now I'm trying to have a secure situation for me so I can defend myself against predators. I'm also having to invest my resources so that my sister can have the same thing. So my niece can be safer than what she is now. My sister can't verify every story. None of the witnesses can. But they can verify their part. People are dead. You guys got to hear me this morning screaming at multiple people those exact words. People are dead. You're going to hang up on me for cursing at you? People are dead. But then again, that was just an excuse to hang up. In reality, by that point, they'd already shown that they weren't interested in doing a goddamn thing. A lot of people could come forward. Case Leighton Morris could come forward. Brittany Enwall could come forward. A lot of people could come forward. A lot of them can't. Mobley can't come forward. He's dead. Christine Buhit can't come forward. She's dead. Rihanna Ingersoll can't come forward. She's dead. At least I recorded my conversations with Rihanna and with Christina. I don't owe it to you to be nice. Matter of fact, I owe it to you to be an asshole. Because these aren't just my rights that I'm fighting for, these are your rights. Or rather, they're supposed to be. I'm tired, I'm exhausted, I'm sick. I don't mean like the flu, I mean so much anxiety that I puke. People keep saying, why don't you move? I did repeatedly. Well, if things in Chapel suck so much, why are you still there? Well, because I don't have anywhere else to go. People seem to think that I can turn 10 cents into $1. Like that.